Hello there guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about my opinions and thoughts on Gears of War 4 and where I think it's going to go. Before I start to talk about anything, if you do not like spoilers or do not know a lot about Gears of War franchise in general, I do not recommend you watching this video. Right, first off is the gameplay, how it feels, what it's really about. Well, first I need to talk about, my friends keep saying that it's not worth it because it's just full of cutscenes, and that it's not good because it's too much. So yeah, there are a lot of cutscenes, but they range from about like 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes, and that's not a lot compared to the game. It sounds like a lot in like if you add them all up, but it's not. It takes hours to complete it. This is the biggest thing. The enemies. They really changed the enemies from number 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and then they change it to this. Because in the first 4 games, they had the Locust, terrifying creatures that really made everything terrifying, because at the start it was showing about like a whole war that went off with them, when in this game the swarm, you know, the monsters in this game, it's not really that big. It's just another enemy. There's 2 different types of enemies in this one. There were 2 types of enemies in the other ones, which was the Locust and the Lambent. The Locust were creatures that came from tunnels under planet Serra, which is kind of like Earth, but full of fuel, and that fuel is the Lambent, which no one knew was actually bad until it started infecting people and changing them, because it was a parasite which people used as a fuel. So the Locust changing to the Swarm is not really a good idea. I mean, after all these years, ever since 2000 and I think it's 6 that it came out, that the number 1 came out, and I was really scared by them. And now in number 4, I'm not scared really at all, because it's just another enemy that I can fight. And because he also had robots, and I don't know why you needed robots. I mean, they replaced that with the Cog, which really sucked. The only missions I really liked in number 4 were the ones where you played as the Cog and went up against the Locust, really, because the Locusts were really terrifying. They had dominance over most of the land. They had barges, they had bosses, lots of bosses like Brummux, which were basically dinosaurs, which with like a giant like mount on the back, and chain gun turrets. And they also had corpses, which were basically like spider creature type things that burrowed into the ground and up from the ground to attack. They also had berserkers, which were female locusts, because all the normal locusts were men and the females were the berserkers, which you could only hurt by using scorchers, which is like a flamethrower. Right, so the enemies, the reason I don't really like them is like they changed from these terrifying creatures with like skin that really shows what it's like being down underground for so long, like years and years. It turns their skin like really white, like a grey type color, and they can talk because they used to be human, whereas in this game they're just red creatures, which like I found just as another enemy. They're red, most of them are red, but the ones that are just born were just grey, like grey creatures that screamed at you. And there's like, they haven't done anything big. All they've done is just attack you. Like, they've infected some places, but they haven't done anything to like take over the planet or anything. Just not like the Locust did. The Locust terrifying, because they like set things on fire like at Anvil Gate, which I'll show you some gameplay in a minute, and I'll show you what happened. Right now I'm gonna show you a comparison of two different types of creatures, like the Locust and the Swarm. Right, look, the Locust, Locust Grenader, looks pretty terrifying, pale skin, armor, armor. Looks like take on some stuff. Look, just a red creature with barely any armor. Look, Cantus looks very organized. Looks like it could outwit you in a battle. And then it's just another skin of the first Swarm. It's no difference between any of the Swarm except from just some of a bit of a defect on them, like some sort of mutated skin. It's like nothing about them are different. Right, here's the Anvil Gate part. This brought back memories of the original. This is number 3, Gears of War 3 at the end. Well, now this is the story. The story was pretty bad. I mean, it's just 20 something years in the future, whereas like your Marcus's son, the main character and all the rest of the story's son in the other games, which you don't know a lot about, and it's not really that good. There's a lot of other people. You have to. The whole game is searching for a girl's mother. I forgot her name. That's how not attached I am to the characters. I don't even remember her name. I don't even remember all of their names. I don't remember like any of them really. All we have to do is just fight Swarm and find this woman's mother, which I can't give too much hate for, because in number 2 some of the game was finding Dom's wife Maria, and in number 3, in all the other games it's all about finding Marcus's dad, but it's not as pushed on as these ones. It's like you forget about his dad for a while and then he tells you, and then like you get remembered about it, and it's like, oh, I need to do that, I need to save my dad, and then you go off to do these other things. Right now it's the bosses. The bosses really made me angry, because all you have in here is, I don't know, like a boss which crawls, but it's like really fat, so, and it opens its chest, which shoots out these spores that aim at you and attack you. And there's also the boss at the end of the game, which is the exact same except it's bigger and more dangerous, so you have to use this robot to fight it, and it's not fun at all because you don't know anything about it or anything. Whereas in number 1, 2, 3 and Judgment, in number 1 you had to fight General Ram, which is a general who worked up the ranks, served the Queen, not the Queen, but like Queen Mira, who was really behind it all, and he was really strong. He killed main characters, and yeah, he's really strong. In number 2 you had Scourge. You had Scourge, who literally cut a tank in half. He cut it in half, and he's really agile. He's basically kind of like a bodyguard to the Queen. And in number 3, you fought the Queen. You went up against the Queen, and it was really satisfying at the end because you stabbed her, and you know what she's done throughout the whole series. And then in Anvil Gate, they all die. Everything dies. And like that's the end of the Locust, and I wonder what they're gonna do next. And I wasn't really satisfied with, I don't think a lot of people are satisfied with what actually happened after that. because it was just, oh, they died. Let's introduce a new enemy that like literally no one knows about, and there's like only a fraction of things that we know about the Swarm that we know about the Locusts, because the Locusts had a lot of information on them. They raped the Berserkers to sometimes reproduce, which was really, really bad. So yeah, I think that's going to be at the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Goodbye.